To rise to pay tribute today to a Prime Minister is one of the distinct honors here. But to rise and pay tribute to a Prime Minister who so enormously changed this nation, and one whom I knew, is a dream of a kid from a hard-working immigrant family who, in her earliest memories of politics, understood that this country is one where success was yours to make. To Mila, to Caroline and Andrew, Ben and Jess, Mark and Vanessa, and Nick and Katie, to your children and to the rest of your family, my sincerest condolences to you as you seek comfort in the memories this country shares with you. Prime Minister Mulroney led a life that can only be described as extraordinary, one that saw him rise from the mills of northern Quebec to the halls of power here in Ottawa, a life characterized by his own devotion to family, to community, and to country, and a life that will have a lasting impact on Canada and indeed the rest of the world. During my time in politics, I was fortunate enough to hear his speeches, his stories, and much later get to know the Prime Minister as someone who he had called in one day on an idle Thursday to come back to life in politics that I had thought for a brief moment that I had left. He was warm, he was tough, he was full of colorful language when it was required and when it was deserved. He often quoted scripture, in particular one passage from Acts. Young men have visions and old men dream dreams. He intended it. I believe it to be a reflection on the nature of things as he saw them and the world that we live in today. But in many ways, it describes his life too. A visionary of a continent brought together by commerce, where everyone would be uplifted by the blessings of trade and a free market. A visionary of a world united by common values like democracy, peace, and justice. The accolades that have poured in from allies and adversaries alike speak wonders about the esteem in which he was held by people from all backgrounds. The respect he commanded and the respect that he showed equally to others might be amongst the best lessons that somebody can learn from this place. Many people, luminaries here at home and abroad, leaders in their fields, have spoken eloquently about that tenure and what it meant to Canada. And I cannot say much about what it was like to live in Canada when he was Prime Minister, but I can say what it's like to live in Canada after he was Prime Minister. The economic prosperity that we saw through the 90s and the 2000s, you can thank Brian Mulroney for that. The foundation of fiscal stability that made it possible, you can thank Brian Mulroney for that. And the long-standing respect and admiration that Canada enjoyed throughout the world, you can certainly thank Brian Mulroney for that. The very fact that we are here today in a parliament working on behalf of a united Canada is a testament to the work that he did to preserve our national unity at a time where many people thought that it couldn't be done. All of these accomplishments were made possible by a deep and abiding faith to our country, our people, and what we stand for here as a nation. This place perverts that, and it's to his legacy that we should look when we fight for the preservation of values here. Doing what he knew was right, even when it was unpopular, to persevering even in the face of intense and visceral opposition, and to an always resonant voice of moral clarity in these dangerous times. We know one thing for sure, that his legacy and his success will live on through his 4 children, already leaders in their own fields, politics, broadcasting, business, who in their own right embody their father's character, ambition, and decency. Ones that I am lucky enough to call friends. Caroline, Ben, Mark, and Nick, thank you for sharing your father with Canada. Something fitting for you just a few days after St. Patrick's Day, and especially for the Prime Minister, whose Irish eyes were always smiling. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, but love leaves a memory that no one can steal. May those memories comfort you in your time of grief. May you treasure the love that he clearly felt for you and for this country, and may his memory always be a blessing. I know it will be in the hearts of millions of Canadians.